Many thanks to Close Vanilla Servers, Husk RP, Fatal Attraction Squad, CF Tools Cloud, Sovereign RP Server, the Stronger Community, the Karma Crew Servers, Friendly DayZ Podcast, DayZ Servers, and DayZ Servers hosts for making this video possible. DayZ Badlands Dev Blog 6 just dropped, confirming the return of the Lee Enfield, but we also got some first looks at the NBC pack, Sandstorms, dynamic events, and the new infected attack patterns. So I'm going to be showing you the new stuff that you probably missed, and how Sandstorms will probably work on this Stara. Just yesterday, the devs released a video going over what happened in Prague, and in that video we got some Badlands gameplay from the LAN party that we all had together. Now if you didn't know, us creators, we were not allowed to record ourselves playing, but now that the devs have released this new footage, we have the first look at some of the features that are coming with Badlands, such as the new inventory icons for players and infected as seen here, and what's called the NBC pack, as you can see from this writing, which is essentially going to allow you to carry NBC gear using fewer slots, showing all 5 slots of NBC gear here with no gas mask or gas mask filter slot, and we know it isn't cut off below because the scroll bar on the right side here is all the way at the bottom. So this NBC pack is confirmed to have 5 slots of NBC gear that can attach to it. This video also shows us the first ever Switch 2 gameplay, which as I said in a previous video is not looking too bad. If I told you that this was on an Xbox or a PlayStation 4, you would probably believe me. This also gives us a first look at the new infected attack animations, which appears to be much more centered around running based attacks and a wider variety of attacks too. So when I was playing Badlands, I was getting hit a lot more by infected, as we're using different attacks and we're doing running based attacks a lot more frequently. There are fewer predictable pauses like there is now, where you just wait for an infected to do a side swipe followed by the double overhead and then you can attack. But in this footage, as you can see as an example, this infected does a right swipe and then follows with a left-handed swipe which extends forward. These are certainly new animations, so we have to get used to blocking preemptively, as attacks are not only going to be more varied, but they're also going to happen much faster. As you can see here, this attack is almost instant. This footage also shows us a first look at the water truck seen here, which allows you to get water from it. You can use a container on this. I'm not sure if you can drink from this directly, but you certainly can use a container on it. And we're not entirely sure if this is a dynamic event or it's statically placed in the world. I'm leaning more towards it being a dynamic event based on the nearby infected that's dead here, the loot on the ground nearby, and other vehicle wrecks. But the main reason I believe this water truck is a dynamic event is that the water you get from this truck is probably limited for balancing and realism, with despawning and respawning it with full water again being a lot easier than coding a new water regeneration mechanic into the game. So I do believe very strongly that this is a dynamic event. The final first look we got was the Sandstorms. So Sandstorms are 100% confirmed. This is a sandstorm, and we now know what it looks like at a distance. It's certainly not map wide. This is going to be localized. It's going to be like 1 kilometer across, in this case at least, and they're going to change direction most likely based on the wind direction on a server. So wind direction does change sometimes, and you do need to be aware of this. I'm guessing they're going to move in the same direction as wind because it's more realistic if that were the case. Dust on the floor is going to be blowing in a direction. You would expect a sandstorm to be heading in that direction too. Speaking of dust, that is what half the new dev blog was all about, just dust. And this also means that this code that we found previously could have been just about this dust and was not related to sandstorms at all. Basically, certain textures will now produce dust particles on the Stara. This dust is mostly client-side and has very little server performance hit, and the amount of dust that's produced is based on whatever the size is of the thing that kicked it up. Players produce this many dust particles, a vehicle produces this many. There's quite a big difference here, and with players you can barely see it, and I'm pretty sure this is client-side for players too, so only the floorboard dust is going to be server-side to synchronize it between players. This will happen on some buildings on the Stara. I don't believe this is coming to other maps. A dust particle effect and the new sound will play when somebody is above you running across the floorboards, alerting players below of your presence above them. They hear a sound, they can see the effect, but we didn't get any details of if this still happens when you're walking or crouch walking. What we did get from this footage though is that the Saka and M3S are going to be on the Stara, at least I would hope so, given that the devs have spawned them on the map. Heli crashes are also confirmed. As you can see here, this is certainly a heli crash site. Village names will be displayed like this, and finally we got our first look at what crashing a motorbike does to our characters. Slowing down the footage, there are 2 frames here where the player clearly gets knocked off the bike is on the floor, the player is above, and then afterwards goes unconscious, which aligns with what people were saying during the playtest. So it looks like if you crash your bike, you come off of it and then you go unconscious. The second part of the dev blog was showcasing the new Lee Enfield. We also got a video for this, which is a bolt action rifle that takes a 10 round magazine, firing 7.62x5.4, so there's not going to be any unique ammo type for this, and we didn't see any optics either, but we do know that an attachment for this weapon is confirmed, which is the Lee Enfield bayonet. And we also did not see the weapon drop to the floor when it was being cocked, so it looks like this weapon bug has been fixed in Badlands. And FYI, if you are using a bolt action weapon this patch, don't fire your weapon too soon after you do this bolt action reload to avoid shooting into the floor like this. In the next dev blog, they're going to go deeper into the infrastructure of Nastara, such as unique buildings on the map, and finally show us the highway with maybe some details on the very intriguing highway tunnels. That would be cool to see. They also said they're going to do another recap on the dev blog soon, where they answer questions of previous dev blogs basically, and they go over what's been said. So if you have questions for what Badlands feature you're unsure about, maybe you have questions for, do let them know below. Their first recap gave us a lot of information on code locks. They also confirmed some details for us. So if you haven't seen that, there is a link below to it. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.